Today's tutorial you will see how to make this 3D subscribe animation in DaVinci Resolve. Before we start, if you don't want to make the whole animation, you can take the DaVinci Resolve project file from my Coffee page. The link will be provided in the description. We have to bring a fusion composition, so in the edit page, the effects, search for fusion composition. Bring it to the timeline. Now right click on the fusion composition, change clip duration. We will change it to 15 seconds and hit change. Now jump into the fusion tab. First of all, we will set the 3D scene. For that, we will need a render 3D, camera 3D, a transform 3D, and a merge 3D node. Now we will bring the renderer here and link it to the media out. Link the camera node to the transform 3D node. Let's do some rearrangements and bring a merge 3D node. Now link the camera to the transform 3D node, and the transform 3D node goes to the merge 3D node. And for now we will link the merge 3D node to the render 3D. And in the screen you will see that we don't have anything yet, but we will get there soon. Next, let's just show one screen for now. Now let's go with the fun part. Let's add a text 3D node. Move it slightly to the left. Let's type subscribe here. I will leave the font to Open Sans. We can change the size to 0.36, the tracking to 115. And next go to the extrusion options. The extrusion depth will be 0.1. Scroll the extrusion subdivision to the maximum. The bevel depth will be 0.015. The same for the bevel width. And the smoothing angle, bring it to the maximum. We can uncheck the back bevels because we just need the bevel effect to be shown on the front of the text 3D node. Now we will also add a shape 3D node. They are merged together. For the shape 3D node, let's switch to two screens and click on the merge 3D node and hit the 1 key to show it on the left screen. Now we can see that we have a shape and the text 3D node. For now it doesn't look good, but we will improve it. For now, go to the shape 3D node and adjust these settings. In the shape drop down, choose cube, uncheck the lock width, height and depth. For the width, let's put 1.8. The height will be 0.4, the depth 0.4. Now move to the visibility tab. Here everything remains as it is for now. For the lighting tab also the same, and all of the other tabs here remain the same. Now we have to go to the material tab. In the material tab choose any color you want, but I will choose red color and hit OK. Now in the specular tab, change the exponent to 28.5. The transmittance tab remains the same. Make sure you have lighting and shadows enabled. And in the transform tab, we will just change the Z translation to 0.1. Now go back to the text 3D node. Let's go to the transform tab, change the Y position to minus 0.0696 and the Z to 0.289. And as you can see, the subscribe text is now in front of the shape. Now link this merge 3D node to the other merge 3D node so that everything is connected, and go to the transform 3D node of the camera and just change the translation to 3.9. And now we can see everything in the right screen as well. But for now, we just have only subscribe text in front of the shape 3D node. We want to add it on all of the faces of the shape 3D. To do that, it's pretty easy in DaVinci Resolve. You just have to add a duplicate 3D node and hold the shift key and drag it in between the merge 3D node and the text 3D node. And now we need to change some settings. We need to make 4 copies. Also, we have to change the X rotation to 90. And the Z for the pivot will be 0.1. And now, as you can see, we have the subscribe text on the front and the back, up and down of the shape. That is what we were trying to achieve. The next step will be to add some lights in the scene. So let's bring 3 light nodes. First is the ambient light. Bring it down here, then search for point light. bring another one here. We can delete this merge 3D node and also click here and add the spotlight. Now let's rearrange them. I will put this on the left, ambient light in the middle, and the spotlight on the right. Now connect each of these light nodes to the merge 3D node, as so. Now let's change some settings for the point light. Just change the intensity to 0.71. Put minus 0.087 for the X. And for the Z translation, 0.43. Now we move to the ambient light, change the intensity to 0.535 and switch to the spotlight. The intensity will be 0.87. Change the penumbra angle to 8.66 and the drop off to 2.88. Now lastly, go to the transform tab of the spotlight. Change the Y position to minus 0.033, the Z translation to 2.87. So go to the render 3D node and from the software renderer, change it to hardware renderer and enable lighting and shadows. Now go to the camera 3D node and now we have to do some animations. First of all, we will animate the lights. Select the point light and go to frame 0. In the frame 0, intensity is as it is, but then go to frame 300. You can type it here. And in the controls, in the intensity, click on this diamond icon here to add a keyframe and change this to 0.386. And go to frame 0 again. Change the intensity to 0.543. And this automatically adds another keyframe in the frame 0. Go to the spotlight and change the intensity to 0.629. Now go to the spotlight, go to frame 0, change the intensity to 0.26 and add a keyframe by clicking on this diamond. And next go to the last frame of the animation and change the intensity to 0.88. This will automatically add another keyframe. The next transformation we need to do is after the merge 3D node of the text and the shape 3D, we will add the transform 3D node. Alt Shift, drag it and release it in between two merge 3D nodes. Now we need to animate the X rotation of this transform node. Go to frame 0, add the keyframe on the X rotation property, then go to frame 150. Change the value of the X rotation property to 150 and then go to the last frame of the animation and for the X rotation type minus 150. Now we have a full rotation in one side and from this frame it starts to rotate back on the X axis until it reaches minus 150. So we have one rotation here. Now since we have this animation, we have to also add the bender node. So we will add the bender node after the merge 3D node here, shift space, bender 3D node, and shift hold it, release it in between the render 3D node and the merge 3D node. First of all, we have to group objects because we want this bender 3D node to affect all of the elements, not just individual ones. Click the group object. Actually, we have to change the axis to X, change the center to 0, and now let's put the amount to minus 0.3. Now we have the correct bending on frame 0. We also need to animate this bender 3D on twist blender type on the x-axis. So go to frame 0 and add a keyframe here on the amount. Now we need to go to frame 150 and change the value to 0.3. Next, go to frame 300 and return the value to 0.3. That's it for this animation. Now we can see that we are getting animation on the x-axis as well as on the bender x-axis. So now we are close to getting the final animation. The last thing to be done here is to smooth all the animation we did so far. To do that, we have to go to the spline editor. Now here you will see multiple animation we have done so far. We will go one by one. So the text 3D extrusion profile, we don't have to do anything there. Let's first unselect this and go to the transform 3D X rotation. Click here to show it all in this window. Now select all of the points here and hit S to smooth them. We will have to make an animation that looks something like this. We are done for the transform X rotation. Now unselect this, go to the point light, select both of the points and hit S to smooth the animation. Next, go to the spotlight, unselect the point light. Also here, select both of the points and hit S to smoothen the animation. And finally, we need to select the bender amount and select all of the points for smooth. Then we have to significantly change this path because we want completely different type of animation. So bring this up. So this animation starts pretty quickly and then slows down gradually. And then here, if you hold the Option key or the Alt key, you can just change the right part of the spline. Bring it up here. Now select this point here and let's make a spline that looks something like this. And this is the final thing we had to change. Now we have the full 3D subscribe animation with lights, bending and transformation in DaVinci Resolve. If you like this tutorial, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Always, if you don't want to do all these steps, you can take the full DaVinci Resolve project file on my Ko-fi page. The link is in the description. Hopefully you like this video and you learned something from this. Thank you for watching and until the next time, bye.